4-1. We already gave our MVP to Photic, and we'll be heading towards the second game. We are slightly behind schedule, so we'll be hopefully able to just jump straight into the game on this one. But I want to remind everyone of the stakes. If you haven't heard us mention it quite a few times across the course of the broadcast, if NIP can finish this series in a 2-0 fashion, they've already knocked out IG at this point, but they will also knock out Anyone's Legend, FPX, RA, and Ultra Prime. They will knock out 5 teams simultaneously if they can win this game of League of Legends. There are very few teams in the history of the sport that have had an opportunity to knock out 5 opponents in a single game, but it's NIP on the red side that have that power in their hands, and they've got the 3 Yordle buff. I wonder which Yordle will get 4 stars in this one.
That's a very good question. Hey, I've been learning TFT for the Aria modes. I have my reasons. I've been paying attention to that one, but you know who else is paying attention to this game? You mentioned the teams. 35 players make up those rosters, waiting in the wings to see if at least a single win can come through from Rare Atom. That might save some of them. If Rare Atom would turn this round into a 2-1, those teams still have a slim breath of life. That's without even mentioning the fans and the staff which follow those players as well. It really does come down to these crazy moments every so often. NIP looking for the LPL team pentakill.
Oh, Leyan could be in big trouble here. Is big damage out from Angel. Can they force the flash? Yes, they can. Leyan kicked out. Oops, excuse me. It's been Photic for most of today that has been kicking Leyan out of the plays. This time it's Angel to do it.
So, a delayed jungle start, or at least a significant amount of HP removed from Leyan, is the victory from NIP. You'll also get... I suppose you're not getting that much information on Leon's jungle start. That's not something they're going to get, but looking through these drafts, let's revisit those jungle paths a little earlier. Talk about those Yordles. We have a Vayne for Assum. He's pulled that out a couple of times this split, but he's going to have to get some real value out of this, because if he's left alone in a 1v1 against Photic, of course Vayne has huge assassination potential against, well, pretty much anyone on the side of NIP. If they don't get that value, someone like that Leona can lock him up for a very long time into all the burst that can come out from NIP.
Yeah, it's one of those lanes, isn't it, where on the one hand, yes, in isolation, the Vayne can definitely kill Ziggs, and if you can find these all-ins, you favor the Vayne. However, if you can't find the all-ins, oh, flash forwards! Or maybe it's the all-ins that favor NIP! The bomb gonna land, no! Flashing away, but the minions do the damage! The ignite there from Zhuo. Forget anything I was saying. NIP are on top.
We've seen this pick banned. We've seen it take over games. Gala first and foremost, but Photic on the side of the Ninjas, looking to set off this LPL team pentakill potential with a decent amount of wind in its sails. NIP off to a good start on that bot side. I'm going to go see the replay of how this happened. It was Assum greeting for lethal tempo, honestly. It's a big wave. There's a good amount of minions aggroed onto him as soon as he starts putting those autos down. Look, that's 3 ranged creeps, a couple of melee setting as well, and then gets minion blocks into the wall. That's the go signal from Zhuo. You can't just walk over those minions, and didn't have the tumble to get the other side of them. Flashes out, but you've been tanking up an entire wave at just level 1 to level 2. It's not enough, and that's a greedy play from Assum.
It's greedy from Assum. It's great from Zhuo. Like, seeing that minion block and just instantly flashing in to punish that. Really, really great laning from Zhuo there. They'll be spotted as he tries to go for an invade, but just going to drop a ward there. But, I mean, fantastic stuff from NIP. Disastrous on the side of Assum, it has to be said. And now, I mean, all of that conversation, like, yes, at level 6, the Vayne will be scary in terms of the all-in potential, but if you can ever get to that point, Ziggs in just a fair lane where you can't find the all-in is going to put so much pressure onto you. Yeah, I mean, we kind of got interrupted there with things happening in the bottom side. Rel in the jungle here for Shadow. I'm excited to see what he can pull out of the bag. I feel like there's so much to talk about, Nymeara, and I feel like I just don't have any time.
Exactly. That's how much, because, you know, considering the amount of games we've had today, 3 which had less stakes, and then the first game which we kind of got like involved with like just the pick combo one way or the other. We haven't had that much time to take stock. So much CC to combo into the big damage from Trist and this Ziggs. Damage on bot side though.
Yeah, no flash for Zhuo either, so that will be a kill for Assum. Yeah, they do give it over. I wasn't sure if they were actually going to give that one over then. Assum picking up a bit of gold, much needed as well, because this lane was already starting to feel like it was getting out of control. Xiaoxu, good trades in the top side as well. Invincible needs to be better with that steadfast presence.
That's something that we're going to have to track. Steadfast presence, of course, very, very valuable against catching LeBlanc, Jax, Sejuani, everyone, let's be honest. But he's walking into Xiaoxu now.
Oh, the flash forwards to get this stun. The knock-up flashed away from, but the stun into the wall can't be. Great play from Shadow. Invincible baiting in Xiaoxu.
That was a great mechanical play. The decision-making from NIP was great there, though, right? Because you get the flash stun, which allows Invincible to get closer to stop any dashes out. It means that you have to flash out first, and then you get the wall stun in. It felt like a zero escape plan from Xiaoxu. No way out of that one. Very well theory crafted by NIP to stop that Jax going in. So now, some gold on both sides of the map. Photic and Zhuo got themselves that one kill in the 2v2. They got themselves a CS advantage as well. Now with the kill towards top side, Invincible will have a bit more golden pocket to face off against Xiaoxu's Jax.
I just want to throw out as well, Nymeara, like, you know, there's been a lot of, I don't get a chance to talk. No, okay. He won't actually find the all-in for now, is the wave. Will be pushing towards Invincible, and he now hits level 6. There's been a lot of talk about how stale the meta has been more recently. I feel like this game, on our bonus day of 12.12, which we weren't necessarily expected to be on this patch today, we're being shown that you can play interesting compositions on this patch. NIP and RA showing everyone else how it's done.
And I love that they're doing it when it matters as well. It's not some throwaway game. It's saying, no, we trust in our own innovation in the meta. And no, we see a couple of teams pull out some different picks every now and then, but as you said, it has gotten a little bit stale from a couple of our teams. NIP, though, with an unprecedented opportunity to knock out 5 teams, decide to do it with style, I suppose, if it were to come to it. Of course, the Rel jungle, we saw it a bit from Kanavi. We've seen it very occasionally in some other bits of the world as well. I think NACL played a game of it. I can't remember the exact amount of games, but it's not that many. It's normally been in that support role, but it does so much unexpected burst, and it will, again, add into the CC combo. So Photic is not playing with skill shots this game. Doesn't matter these missing Qs. As soon as these land, it's going to be so hard to miss these bombs.
Zhuo charges in, forces a flash out from Feather here, and the zone control that Ziggs brings to these kinds of fights is terrifying to deal with. It's Invincible. That's what we're talking about with the steadfast presence. Walking back into the Counter-Strike, though, less positive on the play. Xiaoxu maybe can find a solo kill here, stunned against the wall, though, and denied the actual finish off there.
Awkward lane state for the Poppy. You can see that Cannon was holding up the wave on the other side of the lane, so have to try and break it in if they could. Not quite able to do so. Doesn't lose anything for it, but some hate. Well, it doesn't lose the ultimate for it, and of course didn't have a flash to lose in the first place, but we'll be going down a little bit more farm. So Invincible going to be falling behind in the individual matchup. Maybe Xiaoxu is something that Rare Atom can look to leverage a little bit more into the future. Of course, Rare Atom, an organization which have played for the very longest time with Cube as their top laner. This is the first split with them not playing with that long-time top laner on their organization. Xiaoxu has been a bit of a revelation as far as top laners go. It feels like he's had some really good games on stuff like the Cassante, like the Jax, and him with an individual advantage here in one of these deciding games for them might be a difference maker for them versus the Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, honestly, Xiaoxu has had a pretty amazing split for himself. Really, really impressive in that top lane. And while the team hasn't necessarily had the most successful split, he individually has really impressed me across the course of summer. I'm holding my breath there on the Xiaoxu points as NIP posturing to contest. Leyan has to back away from the Herald as Mole going to get some help from Feather to crash this wave in the mid lane. Angel getting over there to clear things up. We've got to keep a weather eye on that bottom lane. Photic, if he steps too far forward, we already mentioned, Vayne is level 6 now. There is massive all-in potential, especially with the cleanse and the flash available for Assum. It's Invincible that could be in trouble for now. The stun is there, the follow-up stun is there, the follow-up stun is there, and the follow-up stun is there.
That is a whole lot of follow-ups to what is a pretty awkward opening act from Invincible. Don't think he won an encore on that one. That's a good hook. Don't think there's much follow-up for this one, though. So Herald is going to be the prize for that well-earned pick. We can see that the ultimate wasn't popped from Assum, but it was a bit of a dash forward. Not able to stop Ziggs from clearing out the wave, though.
I feel like Photic must be sat there just like constantly hovering his W key and his mouse on him until he needs to CS. It's like the second Assum jumps forward, satchel away, ASAP. and just never stand near walls. Xiaoxu, though, benefactor of the pick onto Invincible for the Herald, does deny a lot of CS, gets a couple of plates for himself. You can see almost 30 CS up in that top lane. It will shrink a little bit with the wave that's being caught now, but even still, fantastic start to the lane on this Jax.
And considering how things looked for NIP and Rare Atom very early into the game with, flash burn from Sejuani, awkward jungle pathing, with the kill very early into lane for bot lane and in top lane as well. Rare Atom have muscled the way back in. They don't want this to be the end of the line. They want to extend their half-life a little bit more, these Rare Atoms, but there's more work to be done.
Man, he really doesn't do much damage to Leyan, does he? Just hit like 7 auto attacks in a row and Leyan's just still full HP. One thing I do want to quickly mention as well, while we have a second, every time I say that sentence, while we have a second, immediately players start posturing for a play.
Can you say it some more?
I can say as many times as you want. Invincible in trouble. But while we have a second, I do want to quickly mention Photic and Angel on Tristana and Ziggs. They will shred towers if ever given the chance. Angel with Demolish, Photic with that satchel charge. They will be able to pretty much just one-shot towers, so keep a weather eye out for that across the course of the game. If these Yordles are ever left alone in a lane, they will take plays.
That is a great point. It's something which I mentioned quite a lot with these champions. Turns out there's so much to talk about in this game. Kind of passed by, but that's something which is added on to the earlier Herald win for Rare Atom. It denies that from NIP. If you ever give a Herald over to those Demolitionists, say goodbye to like 2 towers at that point. You lose so much across the map, and you often get to the point where you can put a Herald down one lane, just demolish another lane with the other one of your champions, and you're losing, 5, 10 plates even at that point.
Leyan is feeling aggressive. Takes away the big Krug, but might have gone too deep for this one. Ducks into the Tri-Brush as Invincible in trouble here. Herald available and will instantly be dropped as Feather hovering towards the top side. Mole is resetting. I think he's going to TP in on this top play. Should an opportunity arise for him. Going to be procced here, but the charge got in through first, so that's 2 plates taken, 4 in total in the top side.
So it's gold over towards the Jax. Mole teleported towards bot side to stop Photic being alone with that tower, which makes a lot of sense because even if you were to win on the top side of the map and get an extra plate and get the first turret bonus, giving all that gold over to Photic would have been fairly disastrous. Ziggs passive on his auto attacks does so much damage to towers before you even counter in that satchel. While this is happening anyway, though, there is already plates going down in the mid lane. It's giving a lot of gold over to NIP, despite what we were saying about Rare Atom kind of clawing back that early game and getting into a bit of an advantage. Those plates taken by Angel, evening up the score a little bit more. And Angel in this Tristana is, of course, someone that we really need to watch. It's been a champion which has been so high priority in the LPL. He's getting good value out of it early game.
Certainly has. Invincible really struggling in the top lane, though. I feel like Xiaoxu is consistently just queuing onto him. Invincible a little slow on the reactions. With those steadfast presence, we need to keep our eyes on that because it can get tough. Once he gets an item or 2 in, he'll start to become a little bit more invincible. No pun intended. Although I said it as if there wasn't a pun intended, so maybe the pun was intended. Who knows?
What I need is someone to take. Did you ever watch the series Invincible, the superhero series? Like, every time someone says his name, they cut out the sound of it and then play the title screen instead. I now need someone to go through the entirety of this split and do the same thing to our top laner Invincible.
I would love to see it. That is a lot of editing. That is a huge amount of effort to make a meme. Zhuo on the front line here is pretty tanky. Happy to go forwards as Shadow jumps into the play as well. Angel looking for his opportunity in as the bombs land onto Feather. And there's one reset for Angel, looking for Leyan as well. Forced to flash away as Mole dips out the south side of the play and into the mid lane, can charge NIP. Mole in a 1v1 with Angel and trading fairly evenly.
Photic had really good patience on his ultimate that allowed him to get a very valuable Mega Inferno bomb. However, what else is valuable is, of course, Xiaoxu once again succeeding in the individual lane. Rare Atom,
hang on.
How do they defend this? The turret, they can't. Satchel goes down. And the Demolitionists, if you ever leave them alone, do so much work. Angel towards this bot side. Would like to see what's happening towards that bot lane out of turret. There's a bomb on tower. It's not going to do that much with the backdoor bonus enabled, but NIP, you can see them continually pushing the map and just saying, okay, if you're going to go for a fight here, there's a chance you lose something big afterwards because of our ability to kill towers. This is fighting into a choke point, fighting into the minefields, and Zhuo and Shadow doing their job well of just being the front line. Assum will get to the point later in the game where they will absolutely destroy these tanks because they're a Vayne. But they're forced to retreat too early in this one. And again, really good potions from Photic, allowing Angel to have the combo to jump in with the bomb over the top of the fight. Very valuable for NIP there.
Certainly was. And Photic, the thing about Ziggs is often referred to as like a weak side marksman, right? Because you can just kind of sit and clear waves under tower. But a lot of the time as well, when it comes to playing against things like dive composition, Ziggs can be fantastic. Because like you say, unless they're on a flank and can pinch you. Oh, hang on, Mole's jumped forwards and takes a huge chunk from Angel for it. Like, the zone control from the minefield, from the satchels, can be so valuable. Bombs coming out here as Mole is onto the backline, but he doesn't have that much damage. And Feather's gone down. The bombs across the team as well. And now
Xiaoxu
Mole getting jumped on by Angel. Xiaoxu's found Photic, but the Buster Shot saves him with a flash as well. And Mole has to dip. Xiaoxu abandoned by the team, and he'll go down to Photic. Everything looking up NIP.
There are an awful lot of LPL teams sucking their breath in at that one because that is a wince of pain from the teams waiting to see if NIP will lose a game to Rare Atom and give some teams an extra chance. Xiaoxu has so much of that individual advantage, but can't get it done. He can't close the distance and stay on top of the carries. A good flash from Photic, a good Buster Shot means that Xiaoxu's first impact in these team fights is very, very muted. NIP, they get to stay after the play. They take another turret. Again, one of the bonuses of the composition. They get another dragon, get themselves up to 2 dragons. Rare Atom, if it's going to get to the point where they even want to split the map, now dealing with 2 early dragons from NIP, that's something we're going to have to consider. A lot of things falling into place from this fight. One of which, again, is the fact that they're continuing to choose the terrain, fight around choke points, and get some good damage down early. And their carries are just never under enough threat. Yes, you blow the flash, but there's nothing else to follow up after that summoner is gone.
Really, really nice fighting from Angel as well. Like, denying the threat from Mole, and then also denying the threat from Xiaoxu. Like, I feel like Angel, despite being a big damage dealer for the team, is also sort of playing bodyguard for Photic. While Photic throws the long-range damage at the rest of the scrap, he does short-range damage on anyone that tries to get onto Photic. Really, really interesting to see the way these laners are interacting with one another. Is now pressure on the top side, and like you say, the Demolitionists moving around the map. Xiaoxu against these Kraken Slayers is going to have a hard time. I don't know why I said Slayers plural. Just the one Kraken Slayer, actually. As Angel will crash another wave and will finish this tower off.
Any luck finding that Kraken? Just the one, actually. Angel's going to go towards... Angel's going to go down towards that top side and deny as much of the wave as possible. NIP really starting to min-max now, and you've given over that Herald. Not even been, you know, used at this point. It's in inventory. This could get very much worse for NIP. Shadow caught out, though.
Doing a good job of buffering a bit there, but the hook comes in alongside the freeze. Zhuo just jumps in and they're like, you know what, we're kind of tanky. Zhuo with a stopwatch to buy time for Photic to keep chunking these players out. Zhuo smites it to finish the playoff, and now Angel's been caught as well. This is huge for RA as Mole looks for Photic too. The route is there. Leyan should be able to follow up on the damage, but he's just getting burned down by the Leandries in the meantime. Invincible finally arrives to get at least one play, but could be in trouble as Assum still going strong in this one. Shadow wants to jump on forward. Assum in all kinds of trouble here as the Poppy dives into the play. The Sunfire Cape is enough along with a shield thrown at him like a frisbee. Mole over the wall, and Shadow whiffs it.
Less of a horseman of the apocalypse. Got to work up towards that standard. Can't quite get over that wall, but does end the fight unkilled, despite being the one being engaged onto. You can see the danger when this Vayne starts to rack up into lethal tempo stacks, run down some of these tanks. NIP, they're not together at this point, and they don't get to have the follow-up from the Ziggs immediately into this fight. Angel also has to buy their time, and when you're fighting in the enemy jungle, as soon as the zone control is down, stuff like that Condemn for the Wallstone becomes really, really valuable. One of the most historic plays in League history might be that Caps Vayne versus the Tristana of Hans Sama many years ago, and that Wallstone onto the Tristana has echoes of that one. Assum able to get a decent amount of damage down. It's just, you don't have the items yet to become the absolute raid boss, which kills everything, but also can't die because you have enough lifesteal and tanky stats to deal with these tanks. Luckily, the chase down from NIP gets rid of Assum and gets an extra kill on the board for them.
Yeah, just like Barmy Cinder galore, burning him down slowly but surely. As now, NIP being challenged a bit by RA, and good. I'm glad to see that because there's a lot of players' careers that could be challenged if NIP could eradicate 5 teams over the next few minutes' time. RA, the heroes for a lot of people right now if they can push this to 3 and then maybe finish it off. But right now it is still NIP in the lead, 3,000 gold with 2 Drakes as well. And I think that's the big thing here, is the fact that not only do they have control in terms of the gold from all of the towers that they've been getting, they also have been controlling the neutral objectives. Speaking of, Herald going to be placed up in this top side. With a satchel charge there for Photic, they don't even need to hit the tower. The Herald will finish it off alongside that W.
That is utterly disgusting. Sometimes you forget how quickly those towers disappear. It's more gold, and you have to engage into this team to stop this push. Maybe they can get the smite, maybe they can hit the eye.
Okay, they do stop it, but Feather might have traded his life to do that. The bomb on his head, and will pop. Xiaoxu on a flank, but Shadow's found him, and won't quite find the engage onto the player. But now, look at this, Baron's on the map. NIP have found the enemy support, have complete vision dominance. This is dangerous territory for RA.
You have Kraken Slayers, you have Leandries, you have the ability to tank this objective. You have ultimates too. Rare Atom, they're going to have to engage without their Nautilus into a rush down Baron.
This is going to be scary. Leyan knocked away. 6k on the Baron as Molt finds Invincible. Trading back as Leyan back on the other side of the pit. This could be 50-50. This could be dangerous. Zhuo going to jump straight onto Leyan. They want to find the jungler, but the blast going into the pit. Baron still at 2k HP right now, but there's a kill onto Assum, who dived alone into the backline. I'm not entirely sure what is going on in this fight as RA continue to try and hold on. Leyan being chased around the map. Angel knocks him away, but he can't quite finish the kill, and he's gone down instead. NIP back onto the Baron again here, and they will be able to take it as RA continue to chase. Mole with a chain, Feather alongside him. He's got a chain on the end of an anchor. But the bombs continuously coming out from Photic. It doesn't feel like RA can actually finish these kills off. And now Invincible's going back in instead. This is absolute chaos on the Rift. But NIP, the ninjas in pajamas, they rolled out of bed and they're kings of the chaos, apparently, as Feather trying to hook himself away. The fight will just never end.
It's final. I mean, it hasn't even petered out just yet. There are teleports already for round 2. I don't know where it stops.
Leyan goes back in, stunned against the wall by Invincible, but the bomb's still going from Photic, who's still chilling, full health, full mana here. The rest of the gang is in as the flash to dodge the hook. Angel, big damage, Xiaoxu trying to get the stuns onto the carries here. He'll get onto Photic, and Shadow trying to protect the Ziggs here. That's one Yordle down. Next one on the chopping block is Photic. Xiaoxu, the Yordle executioner, pest control out of the top lane, and NIP in shambles.
I have no idea where to start with this. I guess there are a couple of surviving Baron buffs just about on NIP, but because of the extended nature of this huge play, Dragon is going to go the way of Rare Atom, as well as a lot of gold. Breath of life to the team which is hanging by a shoestring in this game, in this split, and 35 players between the 5 teams waiting on this result. Hold their breaths. NIP, they don't manage to close things out. It looked incredibly dominant. Felt like they were on a bit of a victory lap with their push in, with their victory around that Baron, but they've just about fumbled the execution. They'll have to try it again.
Route available for Mole. Will find it onto Invincible and dashes away. So gets out with his life here. We need to take a deep breath in a second here. 9 to 12 on kills. It's a 2,000 gold lead for NIP. Drake taken by RA, which slows down the potential soul threat that was starting to become an issue for RA. And now NIP, you know, they're in still a fantastic position on the map with just the Tristana and the Ziggs. They will be able to get priority in side lanes. They will be able to threaten onto towers. But at least RA have bought themselves a little bit of a reprieve for a moment or two. Let's see if they can hold on for the siege.
Xiaoxu has no teleport and is alone in the top side. I think this is dangerous. I think there's a lot of engage from NIP that could potentially end this game without Jax here.
Oh, there's one tower gone already, and NIP can look for more as well. Still 20 seconds on that Baron. which is enough for one more wave to hit in the bottom side. Xiaoxu trying to get objective bounties, but you're against a team of demolitionists. You can't afford to not be here. That's an inhib tower gone, deleted. Onto an inhib as well. Is the recall finally coming out from Xiaoxu here? NIP won't overstay. They won't overstep to try and finish things off here. As Photic kind of left alone by his team here for a second, but doesn't look like RA will try and punish for now. But my goodness, an inhib traded, and sure, loss bonus definitely in play there for Xiaoxu with the top tier 2, but I don't know if that's worth an inhib.
I mean, I think you are probably losing the inhib anyway. I don't think without your flashes you could get a clean engage, but you could have lost the game. That's what I was really worried about. So Xiaoxu, I think he just about gets away with it, getting the getting those loss bonuses, like you were saying, the objective bounties coming through onto it. So, Assum, they are still alive. 4 other teams whose fates have not been decided yet are still alive. We are in this for the pentakill of LPL teams for NIP.
Dude.
Something which is unprecedented.
Imagine if you're one of the teams. Imagine if you're Ultra Prime
I would like
right
to
now.
not, actually. That sounds very stressful.
Imagine this is the game that you have to watch to figure out if your playoffs hopes and dreams are alive still. And RA, the team that has to save you, is also the team that is tied with you in the standings with a better win-loss ratio. It is... I mean, I can't imagine how many years of their lives they are losing watching this series. Mole in trouble, will be knocked up. Shadow getting the stun as well, but Mole does get that second dash out. Chain onto Shadow, but I don't really think there's much follow-up on that one.
No, not yet. But again, it's more about what it symbolizes, right? The fact that you can go for that play, there's basically nothing you blow for, and the fact that it's happening by the Rex of your inner turret, it's a really bad sign for Rare Atoms. 3 items hit by the carries of Ninjas in Pyjamas. That Ziggs is going to be an absolute warhead. And again, if any CC lands, that's going to follow up immediately afterwards. All it takes is one slip, and that is the entire series done.
And Leyan kind of going in for a trade, but the bombs from both Tristana and from Ziggs doing so much work. You can see on the minimap as well, the supers are stacking. The wave was pushed all the way in from RA as Mole keeps on trading HP, but these are not trades that he's winning. But now this massive slow push of super minions is stacking up more and more. You can see a third one headed towards the rest. As Angel backs away, RA trying to find and engage. The bomb hitting 4 people from Angel.
This is more than just an air raid. This is a carpet bombing from NIP, and it is relentless. Xiaoxu has to clear out something on the other side of the map, but all it takes is, again, one slip-up, and your season is done. Your 2023, you can say goodbye to it. You can say goodbye to your summer season. NIP looking to close things out as cleanly as they can.
Bomb on the tower, satchel under the tower. See ya later. Another building successfully demolished by the Yordle boys. I say boys, actually Tristana's a girl, so take that back.
And Poppy.
Classic passive sexism right there. Well, yeah, but Poppy's not really destroyed the towers, did she? I was meaning like
Poppy
the
took the demolish rune. I can appreciate that. They're helping in whatever way they can.
Poppy's the project manager, you know? She's in charge of the demolition.
And see what they can do. But Rare Adam, this is the one chance they have to do anything. This is the one time they've been allowed outside their base in like 5 minutes. They haven't had any chance to play around vision. They're trying to go for whatever they can.
Here we go, RA, like you say, first time out on a little trip around the map. Assum almost one shot by the bomb as Leyan trying to tank. Angel jumps into the rest of the scrap as Assum is gone. Feather is next as he's pulled back in and stuns across the team as well. They can't move. RA don't even get to participate in their own team fight. Xiaoxu gets the counter-strike to keep himself safe, but NIP, they can just walk into the base now. Top tower is missing. Bottom tower being pressured by these supers as Angel might be able to finish off Mole with a crit there. Mole forced away from the play as he gets onto a Nexus tower, and the super still going strong. There's one tower remaining on the Nexus right here, and NIP are just going to hammer away at it. What a composition to do it with, as NIP not only keep their playoff streams alive, but they shut down that of 5 other teams. It's a pentakill for NIP as they eradicate swaths of teams in the LPL.
It is like a million voices cried out and were suddenly silenced. Anyone's Legend, Fun Plus Phoenix, Ultra Prime, Invictus Gaming, and of course Rare Atom on the Rift today.